Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so we were talking about what? What were we talking about? Succession. Very good, okay? And there are two kinds, correct? And what's the first kind that we talked about? Primary succession, okay? And that, remember, we look down here, and this is an example of the primary, okay? We represent it a lot of times like that, primary. And remember, it starts out with bare rock, correct? And then the lichens start moving in, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Then the lichens start moving in. Because remember, lichens break down rock, correct? To make soil, okay? And then you start having your plants and your shrubs that move in, okay? Now, one thing we do need to look at is that Miss Gosen didn't make clear on that for you, okay, is you have, okay, your lichens, okay, and then you have your lichens, you have what they call annual plants. Annual plants. Okay, so what does annual mean? Raise your hand if you know. Annual. Okay, Olivia?
Once every however many times, once a year.
Once a year, correct. So don't we call them yearbooks or our yearbook here? Remember you were supposed to design a design for the front of our yearbook? Don't you get a yearbook? However, how often do you get your yearbooks, guys? Yearly, annually, right, okay. So we used to, when we were in high school, we call them annuals. Okay, get your annuals. Okay, because how many times did we get one? Annually, once a year. Pretty cool. Graham, why are you laughing? So that's what we called them, okay, annual. So you had your annual plants, and then these are usually flowering. They're flowers. They're flowering plants, okay. So if you go with your mom to Ace or Walmart to buy plants for the summer, okay, okay. So you guys can get flowers, okay, and you can think, oh man, they're only 97 cents for this whole group of flowers. Well, that probably means that they are annuals. They're only going to last that season. Does that make sense? You're going to pay more money for one that lasts longer, and those are called longers. No, perennials. That's a good one. That's funny. RR. Okay, they're called perennials. They're called perennials. Okay, and a lot of time those are your grasses. Okay, so perennials mean what? They come back. Yeah, they come back more than once a year, right? Okay, which is nice because I paid a little bit more money for my grasses that I planted, but I don't have to mess with flowers every year, right?
I think we're just doing hardware for our house. No, we have flying plans. And she's over here. You want this one or this one?
There you go. Okay, Kian.
Can I tell you something about stores on Black Friday?
Honey, no, because in a little bit, okay? We need to get going. You guys have a lot of work to do today. Okay, so you have perennials or your grasses, okay? Guys, okay? Then that's when you start having small shrubs, right?
And then longer.
And then bigger. You have small shrubs, okay? All right. Now, when does primary, what's an example, guys? When does primary succession occur? After what? I think you said it, Caden. What'd you say? No, sweetheart. You said what? No, okay. After what? A volcano erupts, right. So this occurs when a volcano erupts. Okay? Remember the videos yesterday? There's nothing left, is there? Okay, it's bare rocks. It kills everything that comes in its place. And you just have lava, nothing, right? Okay. Does this make sense? That's primary when you have nothing. Are you guys writing this down? I highly recommend that you write this down. Hint, hint. Hint, hint. Okay. All right. Any questions about this? No? Okay. Good deal. Okay, up here. Okay, you guys have that? Caden, sweetheart, you need to turn around, pay attention, be writing this down. Quit bugging the people around you. Thank you. Okay. Up here at the top. Can I pull this down?
No.
Okay. Right over there. Okay. Up here, okay, we talked about pioneer species, right?
Yeah.
Okay, easy way to remember pioneer. You guys talked about it in social studies. What's a pioneer? The first person to do something, right? Breakthrough. I'm a pioneer. Okay? So that would be your pioneer organisms or your species, which are who? Lichens. Remember the pictures we looked at yesterday of lichens? Okay, they can grow on trees, rocks, plants, anything, right? Anything. Buildings. Because what they're doing is breaking down what they're growing on to make soil. Okay?
How do you break down brick?
It's because of their chemicals that they have in them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To make soil. That's how they break down rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so eventually then, okay, remember we talked about this yesterday? Those lichens keep breaking down the rocks and making soil. Eventually the trees grow, and what do you end up with? A mature, stable community, and that is called a climax community. Okay? Now, remember we talked about ecosystems and how they can vary. They can be a mud puddle or they can be a huge desert area, right? Or a grassland area, right? So a climax community will look different for each ecosystem. Okay? A desert ecosystem, I hope you're writing these things down and paying attention because you're going to need to know this. Hint, hint. A desert ecosystem looks totally different than a tropical rainforest ecosystem, right? So the climax of a desert or the climax community of a tropical rainforest, that's good for that ecosystem, right? Okay, you have the correct species and everything for that ecosystem because of the rain and the sunlight, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, we will never look like the forests, the redwood forests out in California, will we? No, because that's not our ecosystem, right? We're a grassland ecosystem. Okay, does that? Okay, all right, good deal. Okay, can I turn the page now? Okay, 266, 267. Okay, up at the top. Okay. Caden, why don't you read that?
Secondary succession occurs where an intersection has been distributed by soil, but soil is still present. Areas burned by forest fires undergo secondary succession.
Okay, so earlier, remember primary, there was nothing. Secondary, you've got at least some soil to start with, right? Isn't that what Caden just read? So this is your secondary succession, right? And you've got soil that's still there, okay? And an example, the other one was like a volcano. The best example was a volcano. What's the best example here?
Fire.
Fires, right. A fire. That's the best example of how it starts, okay? Because think about it, not all trees will burn completely down, will they? No. No. Okay, continue on, sir. You're right.
The existing soil usually contains seeds and root stems that sprout and grow after the fire is over. The first plants to grow tend to be hardy shrubs and grasses. Gradually, larger plants colonize the burned area and mostly the stems. Eventually, a stable ecological community is established in the site.
Okay. So good. So you're gonna have, again, you've got shrubs and grasses, right? So again, you're still gonna start out with, guess what? Annuals and then perennials. Right, annuals and then perennials. Very good. But it starts out with a fire. But do I still have soil left? Do I still have soil? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So I still have soil. Do I not? Yeah. And this is secondary. Okay, secondary. That's how we write that. Secondary succession. And I have an example. My soil starts out. Then I have my annuals, do I not? Because they only last a year. So they're usually the flowering plants, right? So usually flowers. And then I have my perennials, correct? Same thing? Yep. And then shrubs, and I have some small pines. Okay. Does that make sense? Remember I told you loblolly pine trees? They have to have fire to actually open up their cones to release their seeds so a little baby tree can grow. Okay, so that's nice because it's got soil to grow in, does it not? Yeah. Okay, yes, Keaton.
When I was at Mount Rushmore,
Uh-huh.
there was a fire,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all just starting to burn out.
Yeah, isn't it pretty? Yeah, I'm glad you got to see that because that's really cool. Okay, now this occurs a lot more quickly than primary because primary starts out with nothing. At least here you've got something to work with, right? Yeah. Okay. Do what, honey? It's fun to look at? Okay. All right. Okay. Graham, read down here, sir.
Area with no plants or animals are kind of grassy, plain, within a year. What kind of
Succession. Good. Okay, okay, your key word right here, Graham. What'd you say? Within a year. So do you think this is primary or secondary? Okay, Kian says secondary. Do you guys agree with him? Okay, why? Why do you think he's correct? Tell me what your thinking is.
Because it says within a year,
Mm-hmm.
but primary could take like 3 to 4 years.
Yes, and actually longer than that. You bet. Happens more quickly. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say happens in a shorter time.
Happens faster.
Yeah. Yes, you can do that. Happens in a shorter time period. Very good. Very good. Does that make sense? Okay, did you guys have that? Can I pull it down? Okay. Happens in a shorter time period. Bless you. You guys okay? Okay, and then I'll pull it down for you, Olivia. Hang on, sweetheart. Okay, so do you guys understand primary and secondary? Okay, so secondary succession is termed that because you've got some kind of a soil, you've got something left. So usually the best example is after a fire. Okay? The best example for primary, you've got nothing left, just bare rocks. That would be the volcano, the lava. Remember we looked at the video yesterday of all the lava and how it kills everything and you just have cooled lava rocks left? Okay?
Very satisfying to watch.
Okay, I didn't say that. Okay, I'm going to pull this down for you guys to finish.
Stare
Are you guys okay on that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so you guys are going to have, I'm going to hand out 3 different papers to you, okay? What does what say, huh? Annuals, flowers, I'm so sorry, flowers. Perennials, let me write it up here. Let me write it up here so you can, perennials, there you go. Can you read that better?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that. We wrote it on the other page too. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Yes? Okay. So now let me ask you another thing. If this is my pioneer, is that right? Or is that correct? Pioneer?
Yeah.
Pioneer species? Where's my climax species? At the very end. Aren't these all my climax?
Yeah.
Okay. So this would be my climax community. Okay. And over here somewhere I've got pioneers starting, right? Pioneer species. Do you think these dudes have a name?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are actually called intermediate. Okay? Intermediate. Now, let me give you an example. You guys, we can refer this to like K through 12, right? Right? K through 5th grade, you guys are in elementary, right? You're the beginning. You're the pioneers. You're laying your foundation of education, correct? Your goal is to be to the climax, to graduate, which is high school, right? Okay? Well, okay, and I know college, yes, but college is not required by law, right? By law, K through 12 is required, correct? So I'm just using that as an example. Okay? All right, so what's in between? Middle school, right? Yes? So that would be like your intermediate, between. That makes sense? Good. Okay. All right. You guys have any questions about this? Yes or no? Okay. Good deal. Okay. All right.